It's time to duel.
2021 looks to be the year where the anime industry gets back on track. A lot of the best anime titles that were supposed to debut at the end of 2020 were pushed back to 2021, and the new year already had several high-profile series announcements as is. With that in mind, I thought it would be cool to go over the top 10 new seasons of anime coming out in January that I'm the most hyped to watch in this week's episode of the AP Podcast. That said, my list is only going to include brand new seasons airing in January. No holdovers and no Season X Part 2 Plus. That means no Jujutsu Kaisen, Black Clover, Digimon, Attack on Titan, or Re:Zero. They're all good and I'm watching most of them. I'm just leaving them off by technicality so I can cover more content. Otherwise, some of them would be taking spots on this list because they've been very, very good. But I wanted to talk about new stuff. So, with that note out of the way, I'm Axel Blaze, and this is my top 10 anticipated anime of winter 2021. So, before we talk about my top 10, let's talk about two anime that I will not be watching. So, first is X-Arm. It is a Crunchyroll exclusive based on a sci-fi manga that was published in Grand Jump and Jump Plus. The studio working on it is called Visual Flight, and my god, it has some of the worst CGI I have ever seen. You look at the Wikipedia page for X-Arm and you'll understand why. The main staff for this series have never worked on an anime before. And you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing if like a studio is new or whatnot, but like this is bad. The manga for this looks visually interesting, and I think that's the reason why it like still ranked pretty high on like the Anime Live chart website. So I might give it a read, but watch a trailer for this anime and you will see how bad it is. The trailer on Crunchyroll's YouTube channel has 22,000 dislikes compared to 2.3 thousand likes with over 206,000 views. It's just a no. No. And speaking of just no's, we can't talk about stuff to skip without talking about Redo of Healer, or Kaifuku Jutsushi no Yari Naoshi. You want to know what happens when you search for the trailer for this series on YouTube? You get several results showing Joey the Anime Man talking about how this series is going to be bad. He talks about it more in depth in his videos, so I definitely recommend watching for more context. But remember how badly the internet reacted to the first episode of Goblin Slayer? Supposedly, if this anime is faithful to the source material, we get several scenes and moments that are worse than the controversial scene in the first Goblin Slayer episode. So take that as you will, but after watching Joey's video, I had absolutely zero desire to watch the show, and I shudder to think what we're going to see on social media once it airs. It's going to be a shit show, I guarantee you. But with those two dishonorable mentions out of the way, we can get into the good stuff. Everything that we'll be covering can be found on the Anime Live Chart website, so you can browse and find out what's airing and when for yourselves. But for now, let's jump into it. At the 10th spot is Heaven's Design Team, or Tenchi Shoujo Designbu, produced by Asahi Production. The summary from the Anime Live Chart website says, in Heaven's animal design department, designers create a variety of new animals daily while contending with the unreasonable requests of their client, God. Funny, interesting, and full of useful information, this series answers questions such as, why can't unicorns exist? What makes an animal taste delicious? What's the most powerful creature in the ocean? And bird versus snake, who would win? For this one, I watched the anime trailer on this one, and the animation is on the simpler side, but it does look really funny to me. The concept is an easy one to work with, and I'm kind of surprised, I guess, in a way that nobody has done this previously, but it sounds really interesting. I really, really hope that there is an episode on the platypus, because if there isn't an episode on the platypus. That is a giant miss in my opinion, just because the platypus is just so weird but funny but awesome. Like, I love the platypus, and I can blame Phineas and Ferb on that for my love of platypi for sure. And in all honesty, this one is my goofy pick for the list. Like, there are other comedies and whatnot that are gonna be on here, like other shows that incorporate comedy, but like this one is the comedy focus show on my list, and I'm definitely interested to see how it pans out. For those wondering, the source material on this is an ongoing manga in Monthly Morning 2 that's been published since 2017. There are 5 volumes out at this point, with the first volume out now in the West as of October. I checked Amazon prior to recording this, and yeah, you can get the paperback version of the first volume now. So I might get that personally. I haven't seen a release date for the second volume yet, but yeah, I'm definitely interested in this series, and that's why I put it at number 10. In 9th place is Monster Incidents, better known as Kemono Jihen, produced by Aja Do. When a series of animal bodies that rot away after a single night begin appearing in a remote mountain village, Inugami, a detective from Tokyo who specializes in the occult, is called to investigate. While working the case, he befriends a strange boy who works in the field every day instead of going to school. Shunned by his peers and nicknamed Dororobo after a yokai that lives in the mud, he helps Inugami uncover the truth behind the killings. But supernatural forces are at work, and while Dororobo is just a nickname, it might not be the only thing about the boy that isn't human. So the thing that drew me in for this one is that it's a supernatural action shonen series, and those are things that I really appreciate. I enjoy getting to see like dark supernatural series, and this is another one that definitely looks interesting to me. Another bonus for me personally is that it's produced by the same studio that did Ascendance of a Bookworm and How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. And while I have not watched the latter, the former is one of my favorite series from 2019, admittedly. I really love Ascendance of a Bookworm. It is one of my guilty pleasures, for sure. Just because it's so adorable and like homely and great, and I love it. So since it's by the same studio that made that, I've got some positive hope going into this one that it's going to be good. But on top of that, the source for this one is another ongoing manga that's published in Jump Square since 2016 and is published monthly. There are 11 volumes of it out right now, so the fact that it's been going on since 2016, in my opinion, is another positive going for this. So again, I'm looking forward to this one. It's one that I have not read at this point. Depending on how the anime turns out, I will probably be inclined to read the manga for this one, or, since there are 11 volumes out, I'll probably stick around for a season 2 if they decide to make it. So yeah, that is why this one is at number 9 on my list, and I definitely recommend checking out the trailer. 8th place goes to the first title on my list that is a sequel season, and that's the newest season of Dr. Stone, Season 2, produced by TMS Entertainment. So, it is no secret that if you watch my content on my YouTube channel, that I am a fan of Dr. Stone. I have been a fan of Dr. Stone since Chapter 1, and big part of that is because it's written by Riichiro Inagaki, who created iShield 21, and again, for those that watch my YouTube stuff, I freaking love iShield 21 with a passion. Not to mention art's done by Boichi, and he himself is absolutely fantastic with the art that he's done, especially for Sunken Rock. I need to get into that series. I haven't gotten into it yet, but we're not talking about Sunken Rock, we're talking about Dr. Stone. So, Season 2, we're kicking off with the Stone Wars, and this is, this arc is a fun one. It is really fun. We get to see a bunch of cool new characters. All these characters that Tsukasa decided to resurrect in his Stone Kingdom. trying to fight off science. And on the Senku side of things, we have a big step up in science as of this arc. Like, don't get me wrong, the science that we had leading up to this point has all been great, especially leading up to the Stone Age telephone that they made. But a lot of the inventions that get made in the Stone Wars arc are pretty freaking cool, and you wouldn't expect it. You would not expect these things to be made, but once you get further into the Dr. Stone manga, I mean, things start getting more and more absurd as time goes on. So, to me, this is definitely where it starts getting the most enjoyable, because we're finally seeing the technology take off. Not that the technology in the first season wasn't good, because it was. But you also got to consider the fact that we're starting with more rudimentary things to start off the series, and things will get more complicated as we go, as more people get involved, as more things are acquired. So Stone Wars, if you weren't necessarily enticed in that first season Dr. Stone, I think this is where you're gonna get into it. And on top of that, if we get 24 episodes, if it's not just a 12 episode season, although if it is a 12 episode season, we still might get a tease for this. We'll get to see two of my favorite characters in the series, so I'm very excited for that. I'm not going to give any spoilers for who they are, what they do. If you read the manga, I think you'll know who I'm talking about here in terms of who shows up after the Stone Wars. So yeah, we're in for some good stuff there. So that being said, if you're looking for the source material, it's a manga series that's been publishing weekly since 2017 in Weekly Shonen Jump. I've talked about it almost every week that I've done a Weekly Shonen Jump review, and I highly recommend it. It's great, and you can get the physical volumes for yourselves because the art by Boichi is absolutely fantastic, and the manga volumes look really good. I enjoy having them on my shelf. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. In 7th place, we are going to have both the Cells at Work Season 2 and Cells at Work Black. Didn't really make sense to have them as separate entries since they're offshoots of each other, but yeah. The OG series is once again being produced by David Production, while Black is being produced by Leiden Films. And I'm hoping I pronounced that first part right. But anyway, if by some chance you don't know what Cells at Work is, Cells at Work is a series where essentially every cell and thing in your body is given a human representation or human-like representation in the anime, though there are viruses and other things that are portrayed as monsters and whatnot, and it's really good. There have been several doctors that have reviewed Cells at Work on YouTube, saying the science and the medical knowledge behind some of the stuff is really good. So that is definitely a plus, and you could definitely tell a lot of research has been put into it. So I was a big fan of Cells at Work Season 1, and I have read Cells at Work Black, and that one is a ride. That one is one hell of a trip right there. If you haven't watched the first season already, please watch it. Again, it's David Production. David Production, in my mind, does no wrong. They don't. They do JoJo right. They do Fire Force right. They did the first season of Cells at Work right. So yeah, please watch the new season. And for those interested in Black, it's the darker version of Cells at Work. Cells at Work has some dark moments and whatnot, but otherwise it's a lighthearted series. Cells at Work Black explores what it's like to see the cells in a not healthy body. So there are a lot of stark contrasts in this series compared to the original. And on top of that, this one is being this series in particular is being produced by Leiden Films. For those unaware of Leiden, they did Killing Bites, Arslan Senki, Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, and Terraform Mars. And unfortunately, it looked like they did both seasons of Terra for Mars, if I'm not mistaken, which, good things here, bad things here. So we'll see how they adapt it. But I can at least say that the source material is good on this one. And again, if you like Cells at Work and you're interested in a darker take on it with somebody that has actual health issues and whatnot, it's an interesting take. I think it's gonna be good. So fingers crossed that the anime adaptation here is a good one. So source material for Cells at Work. The OG series has been published in Monthly Shonen Series since 2015, and Black is in the monthly magazine Morning, and that's been published since 2018. So yeah, you can read the manga for these as well if you want to. I definitely recommend them. Yeah, that's my take on Cells at Work. Moving right along. In 6th place, we've got 243 Seiyan High School Boys Volleyball Club, also produced by David Production. So we got back-to-back David Pro here. So, bear with me as I go over the very long description that was put on the Anime Live Chart website. Kimishika Hajime was a member of a strong junior high school volleyball team in Tokyo, but after getting into serious trouble with the team, he moves to his mother's hometown of Fukui, where he spent his childhood, and is reunited with his childhood friend, Yuni Kuroba. Kuroba, who has outstanding physical abilities but is weak under pressure, and Hajime, whose overwhelming passion and talent for volleyball always cause friction with others, grow up to be an ace pair. But in their last prefectural tournament before they graduate middle school, they get into a big fight. The two of them both start school at Seiyan High, no longer friends. Waiting for them on the boys' volleyball team is the oddball pair of Oda, the hot-headed 163cm tall captain, and Aoki, the cool 193cm tall vice captain, as well as second grader Kano, who is allergic to sunlight and always wear long sleeves and long pants. Hajime and Kuroba aim for one more shot at the national championship, but November. There's one last chance for the current members of the team to compete at the national level, the Spring High School Volleyball Tournament. With Kuroba, who's gradually begun to realize how to act as the ace of the team, and Hajime, the genius setter, the Seiyan High School Volleyball team is finally ready to aim for the top. Fukui Prefecture only gets one shot at the tournament. If they want to make it to Tokyo, they'll have to beat the members of the Fukuho Tech Team, including their leader Subaru Mimura, the strongest attacker in the prefecture. Fukuho and Seiyan are finally ready to face off to see who gets the right to attend the spring tournament. Holy wow. A lot there. There was a lot there. A lot of reading. So, big appeal for this one is that it's a volleyball replacement for Haikyuu that is not Haikyuu. It is its own thing. You've got a pair of, guys that were friends, then they weren't friends, now they're in high school together, and they're gonna probably be friends again after this. But it's also interesting to see that they're in a school that, is probably out in like the countryside, so like because of that, they've only got that one shot to even get to the more national stage for playing volleyball. So that is definitely interesting. Very, very intrigued to see where this one goes. And again, because it's David Production, I'm really interested to see what they can do with a volleyball series. They're great at animating, so I think that they can do great things with it. But yeah, the one thing of contention here is that this one is going to be obviously compared and contrasted to Haikyuu, especially since the latest season of Haikyuu ends this month in December, leading up to this new series. So I'm definitely interested to see how it goes. I'm interested to see, a series that's probably a little bit more grounded. Not saying that Haikyuu isn't grounded. That being said, Haikyuu in several senses has, a more realistic take on sports outside of Hinata. Let's be honest here. Hinata is an oddball, but he's a shonen protagonist, so they got to put a spin on it. So I'm interested to see how this one goes, especially since this one is more of a josei series rather than a shonen series. The source for this one is a light novel series that was written by Yukako Kabe and illustrated by Eiji Yamakawa, and it's been collected in 5 volumes since 2015. And it's had a manga adaptation in monthly josei magazine Kokohana since 2018. So again, big contrast here. We're talking shonen in Haikyuu compared to josei with 243, so that's going to be a very interesting contrast. And we'll see where this stacks up at the end of the month and whether or not it stays a top 10 series for me. In 5th place, we have the only anime original series on my list, and that's Skate the Infinity, produced by Studio Bones. And for the record, it's abbreviated as SK Infinity Sign. So, yeah, trying to be really cool here. And like when it's spelled out, it's SK8 rather than skate. So yeah, edgy, cool, awesome. Anyway, summary of this series. Reki, a high school sophomore and skater, is addicted to S, a highly secret and dangerous downhill skateboarding race that takes place in an abandoned mine. The skaters are especially wild about the quote-unquote beefs, or heated battles that erupt in the races. Reki takes Langa, a transfer student returning to Japan after studying abroad, to the mine where the races are held. Langa, who has no skateboarding experience, finds himself pulled into the world of S. So for this one, I myself am a fan of quirky sports slash sports adjacent series. So this one for me is absolutely right up my alley. I myself have never gotten into air gear. I need to get into air gear, but like that was the very first thing that kind of popped into my mind when I heard that there was going to be a skateboarding anime, especially like a dangerous skateboarding anime. So I'm oh my god, I'm really interested to see where this one goes. From the trailer that I could see, the character design, you've got some real oddball characters, which I think is going to make this all the more interesting. Some of their skateboards, I can't remember if it was all of them, but some of them had like some really high-tech ones, so I think that's also a really cool aesthetic that we're going to have here. And it's done by Studio Bones. Like, Studio Bones is top-notch. I really have, no concerns here with quality. So I'm very interested to see what they do with an original anime series like this. So, yeah, Let's see if Skate the Infinity is, if that one kind of goes under the radar this season, or like people kind of pick up on it and they're like, whoa, this series is actually good. Yeah, I hope it's good. I hope that it is a breakout series, and we'll see what happens. In 4th place, we've got BStars Season 2, once again produced by Studio Orange. Technically here, it's airing on Netflix in the US, so we won't officially get it, stateside until later in 2021, but it premieres in Japan in January, so it gets a spot on the list here. It's on the Anime Live Chart website, as January, and that's what we're sticking with. That is it. So, BStars had an absolutely great first season for an anime, especially a CGI anime. Like the CGI actually played really well into the style of the series, which is interesting because the manga is, like so different in contrast. We're finally delving into the mystery that was completely ignored pretty much in the first episode of season 1 of, oh, hey, yeah, there was a, there was a carnivore that killed one of the herbivore characters. Oh well, that was a thing, but let's have a play to like make people like each other again. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with that. The way that the first season left off, it made it seem like whoever the killer was, they were away from school for a period of time. So that being said, like if there are new like carnivore characters that all of a sudden get introduced in the second season, obviously fingers are immediately going to point to them. But there are other things in this season I'm definitely excited for outside of that mystery, but again, I'm happy that they're finally covering it. The big thing here is that we're going to be seeing the very contrasting character developments between Legacy and Louis. As Legacy is, fighting instinct, trying to be essentially the hero of the story. You've got Louis that's, Lewis, who's been like just diving deeper into the darkness, especially as we've been, finding out more things about his past. The fact that like he was like, sold as part of like the slave trade before being adopted by like this really rich deer guy. But now he's, supposedly going to be running like the lion mafia after what happened in the first season. Like stuff is going down. Like I am so excited for this. Like the trailer that got put out has me hyped up. Super excited to see it. That giant snake character is really eye-catching to me. So I think that's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited for this, and I will try to find means to watch this weekly because I can't wait for it to get released on Netflix. Because I mean, anime, spoilers. Spoilers are out there everywhere. People will spoil things immediately upon airing. People spoil things, manga especially, before they're even officially released. I mean, you know how bad it is with like One Piece and My Hero right now. Like, it's awful. Like, there are spoilers everywhere. So, I'm going to try and stay on top of this one the best I can. The source material on this one, this was published in Weekly Shonen Champion from 2016 to 2020. I myself have not read the manga for this one, so I don't know what happens with it, and I'm hoping to stay in the dark on it until I actually watch it. So yeah, very, very excited here. Very, very excited. After BStars, we finally move into our top 3, and taking the bronze in third is The Promised Neverland Season 2, produced by Cloverworks. The first season of The Promised Neverland caught me off guard by just how fantastic it was. Like this is not your standard Shonen Jump series, and like it was really well done. And like the anime production of the manga was really, really well done. Like wow. The series was so good. Like for like such a dark, like dismal tone for an anime series where children are dying, like it's really good. I'm gonna say this now, I have not read the manga, and I have been eagerly awaiting to watch this with my girlfriend since we watched the first season of the anime together. I know that the series has ended. I know that there are opinions out there about the manga's ending. I'm gonna completely ignore that. I don't know what goes on in the rest of the series, so at this point, everything that I'm going to be talking about is my own speculation. So this is me talking anime only here. So the big draw for me for season 2 of The Promised Neverland is that we're going to be seeing this world of this series for the very first time with the children. We have absolutely no expectations whatsoever of what human and or demon society is outside of the walls of of the farm. Like, we don't know what goes on out there. Like, we've only even like seen like brief glimpses of like the training facility, where they train the mothers to go raise the children on these farms. So I am so ready to see what it's like in this outside world. And I'm interested to see how the kids manage to survive, like even trying to find society. We don't know, what this forest is like. I mean, again, anime only people. Keep in mind, anime only people I'm talking to here. We don't know what to expect, and that is what's so exciting, especially because, again, we're dealing with kids. We're dealing with kids. We're not dealing with adults. We're not dealing with, people that like have like full educations or whatnot. We're talking about kids that have just cut off their ears to avoid tracking in this world where demons eat children. Demons eat kids, and they're on the run trying to find any kind of safe haven that they can. So other than that, I'm also interested, again, to find out more about the organization itself that is running the human farms. Who is at the top here? Who is running it? What is the management like between humans and demons? Are there humans in some kind of hierarchy in this system? Obviously, like we had, in season 1, we had like our mom on the farm, and then like there was like the head mother, and like I'm interested to see if there's like like a father figure or whatnot, because like as we also saw, like they made these women conceive, so who knows what's going on here. But like I am so interested. I want to know more. Other than that, my thoughts here. Some of these kids are gonna die. Like, I don't know how many, but there's gotta be some kids that die. Like, we only had like one official death in the first season. Like, we see Norman like sent off. We don't actually see Norman die. Like, we only see one child die in the very beginning. It's incredibly sad. So the fact that we didn't see anyone else officially die in the first... No, sorry. Sister Crone died. Not a kid, but again, she died. Oh man, I am gonna be so sad. I'm gonna be very heartbroken with some of these kids dying, but I know it's happening. There's no way that like all of them are gonna live. That is inconceivable. I'm also very interested in the promo image that's being shared around promoting the season 2, because it shows not only Emma on one side, but it also shows this demon girl on the other side. So I'm very interested to see what the parallels are between them. Like, it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously we've seen how it is with like human children and like how humans are run by like the demon society. I'm interested to see how demon children live in demon society. Like, what is it like? What is any of this like? Oh my god, I am just so ready for the world building in this season 2. I am so ready for it, because I don't know what to expect, and that is awesome. That is awesome to me. I am so hyped for this. I can't even fully elaborate how hyped I am. But as I've said earlier, source material on this one is Weekly Shonen Jump. It ended this year, 2020, earlier in the year, along with a bunch of other series. So the manga is out. If you want to read it to completion, it is out there. It is available. You have every right to read it if you want to. And by all means, if you are a manga, if you have a manga preference, go out and read it. Please do, because it is such an interesting series. It really is good. Now, moving on to the top 2. Just getting beaten out for the top spot on my list is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 2, Part 1, produced by 8-Bit. So, Slime was one of my favorite fantasy isekai of the past few years. Like, I can't remember an isekai series that I've been... a standard isekai series that I've been this hyped for in a long time. Outside of the, like I mentioned before, I really enjoy Ascendance of a Bookworm. I really enjoy My Next Life as a Villainous All Routes Lead to Doom, which is more of a it's a romance reverse harem isekai, but like Slime is your great standard fantasy isekai, and I absolutely loved the first season that got produced. So there is a lot to build on from the first season. Exploring all the characters, exploring the city of Rimuru, seeing everything happen with it, and like the trailers have shown that there is like shit's going down. Shit is going down in like season 2 here. So and I will specify here, this is another series that I have not read the manga and I have not read the light novel. I'm only into the anime on this one because I just wanna stick to the anime. I might deviate eventually, but I wanna watch the anime before reading it. So you've got new characters, you've got new conflict, you've got Shion's star apprentice from the first opening of the series that we only very briefly got to see at the end of season 2, at the end of the first season. So it's gonna be very interesting to see her in this, especially because she is an antagonistic character. So that's a thing. We also have Diablo in season 2, who was also heavily hinted at the end of season 1. Not to mention like all the promo images that have been, floating around the internet with like Rimuru and his gang all in like their awesome badass black coats. So I am so ready for season 2 of Slime. I'm very sad that we didn't get it in the fall like we were originally supposed to here. Like we originally were gonna have this airing right now, with season 2 part 2 airing in the spring, but obviously with the way of the world that changed, so it's unfortunate, but this is just yet another series to really get into come January. And I'm also really excited because it looks like we're going to have a tonal shift here. With all of the negative things that are going to happen, because keep in mind, Rimuru up to this point has been very pro-human. He has been, trying to forge positive relationships with as many people, as many kingdoms as he can, and this is going to be the first time where there is major pushback. So I am very excited to see what happens with this series. I hope that I hope that Rimuru doesn't have like too much of a character change. Like I'm fine if there's like, again, a bit of a darker tonal shift here, but like it'll be really sad if like we lose lighthearted Rimuru. But I'm excited to see what happens. Source material here: light novel series written by Fuse and illustrated by Mitzvah. It was published digitally on Shusetsuka ni Naru, the website, from 2013 and 2016, then published by Micro Magazine since 2014, and there have been 16 volumes of the light novel total, with a manga adaptation in Monthly Shonen Series since 2015. There is a lot of source material out there if you want to read it, so by all means do so. Like I said, I myself am going to eventually read the light novel series as well, because I'm interested to see, how different it is compared to the anime. But for now, I'm sticking to the anime, and I'm very excited, and I can't wait to talk about it. But the number one most anticipated anime of winter 2021 for me is Log Horizon Season 3, produced by Studio Dean. Oh my gosh, you don't know how long I've been waiting for this. So, little synopsis here from Anime Live Chart. A year after the adventurers were blown into the Elder Tale world, Akiba's prosperity begins to teeter with the emergence of a new monster, quote-unquote genius, a festering power struggle between the East-West aristocrats, and the growing gap among the adventurers themselves. Finally, the Round Table, the symbol of their unity, faces a decisive crisis. So, it has been a very long time since we've had any Log Horizon anime content. The last season was released in October 2014, so about 6 years since we've had a new season, because the second season was 24 episodes. In my opinion, Log Horizon is one of the best takes on the trapped in a video game genre, because it does a lot of things differently compared to other, trapped in a video game series. The big one being that, like in other video game trapped series, like if you die in the game, you die for real. Compared to Log Horizon, where if you die and you're a hero character, you get resurrected. But there are so many other video game like mechanics and characteristics that are like very well done in this series, that I have really appreciated. As many have said, it is very dialogue heavy. Very dialogue heavy. So like, if you're new to getting into the series, like, there's a lot of information to be processed, but if you're someone that appreciates, world building and like constructing a cohesive world that makes sense, this is one that definitely does it. Great character designs, great series, great characters. Left us on quite a bit of a cliffhanger, obviously, 6 years ago with the anime. But yeah, oh my god, I can't tell you how many times my girlfriend has asked, is Log Horizon coming back? Is Log Horizon coming back? When's Log Horizon coming back? And like, having to say over and over and over again, like, I don't know. The author got like arrested for like tax evasion or something, and like that was a thing, and like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, like, this past year, it was just like, Log Horizon's coming back, and I was just like, yes, give it to me. Give me more Log Horizon. And oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that it's back. I'm so excited to get back into this world because it's been so long. I'll probably have to do some kind of recap of the anime just so I'm like, I'm composed and ready to watch the next season. But oh man, I am so excited. And then source material on this one, since I've covered everything else. The light novel series was written by Mamoru Tono and illustrated by Kazuhiro Hara, and it got its start on Shosetsuka Ninaru in 2010, and it's had 11 light novels total that finished in 2018. It had a manga adaptation for the original series and 3 spin-offs running in various magazines from 2012 to 2018 in varying capacities. So again, if you are a glutton for just, getting to the point and reading it, it is all out there. It is available in varying capacities, so knock yourselves out. The series is great. I personally think that the anime is the best way to consume it. Don't watch the dub. Please, do not watch the dub. Do not watch the dub at all. It is awful. It is bad. I watched the dub, like, out of, like, curiosity with my girlfriend once. And keep in mind, I watched the sub first. I got her into Log Horizon afterwards, like, once we got together. And, like, we were watching the sub, and then we're like, oh, there's a dub. And we watched, like, a minute of, like, episode 3, and it was awful. Oh my god. Just bad. If you're watching the anime, please watch the sub. Do not watch the dub. Do not watch the dub. I respect anyone that like participated in it, but it was bad. It was bad. I don't. No. Just no. And that does it for my list. On that note, if there's one thing I can say for sure, it's that I am happy to have such a big influx of new anime to watch again on a weekly basis. While I am a big-time manga reader, I enjoy watching a bunch of different anime series with my girlfriend, and it's honestly been sad having only a small handful of new series to watch this season. Don't get me wrong, the good stuff has been great, but I miss the days of watching at least one new show almost every day of the week, like back in 2019. Like, I kid you not, I scheduled out my weeks based on what new anime was coming out on a daily basis. I took notes, so I was on top of it, rather than just like, oh, do we have anything to watch? Oh, let me check to see if anything's here. No, I was on top of that, and you can bet I will be on top of it this time around too, so I can watch everything on a weekly basis and enjoy it. So, I will be giving a few other series a shot come January, but these titles were the ones that I'm the most interested in right now. After, taking a look through the Anime Live chart, after checking out some trailers, and, on top of, reading and or having already watched previous seasons of other stuff. So, yeah, these were the top 10 that I chose. For those that may be wondering, on the rom-com side of things, the people that are like, oh, he didn't talk about this series. I left Quintessential Quintuplets off my list because I read the manga to completion and never watched the anime. It is a great series, and I recommend watching it or reading it. It's been a top 10 manga series in terms of sales for the past few years for a reason. It's good. It is very good. So yeah, I myself, I might check out the anime. I might not. We'll see. I might just, decide to reread the manga because I really enjoyed it. But yeah, the manga has been completed, so if you want to see, who the main character picks, you can read the manga. Or you can watch the anime. I don't know if they're going to cover the ending in this season of the anime. I think they might go for 3 seasons. I could be wrong. Again, I have no grasp of time and like arc placement because I didn't watch the first season of the anime, so I don't really know. But yeah, for those that were wondering why that wasn't on my list, that's the reason why. But come March, my top 10 list for what aired that I liked might change. And I kind of shared that in my top 10 list as I was going from series to series. But at least for now, these are the ones that I'm hyping up and I'm excited to eventually talk about them. That said, I would love to discuss these series in the comment section. Do you guys agree with the series on my list? What will you put in your top 3 most anticipated series? Is there something I missed that you think deserves to be on this list? Let me know in the comments and we can get the discussion started. For anyone that stuck around this long, thank you for watching and or listening. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, it would be great if you could hit that like button and or leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed already, it would be even greater if you could subscribe for more of my weekly content. Big thank you. Big thank you to those that have already subscribed. Your support means a lot to me, and you're a big part of the reason why I continue to do what I do. So, until next time, my name is Axel Ablaze, and it's time to start jamming the Database by A Man with a Mission again. Still one of my favorite songs by them. So, please start airing already, Log Horizon. I need you now. I need it. Please. Jeez. Bye-bye, everybody.